Hi everybody, Allie here. Welcome to Pawsome Stamps. Today we're going to be having fun making a customized wooden ornament. So I started my project with one of these. This is just a simple slice of wood that has been drilled and has its own hanger. These can be bought at your local craft shop. So today we are going to be using the fun and fabulous Gingerbread Lane. And I've used the actual gingerbread house stamp plus a couple of the windows. And I've already pre-stamped my image for you today. I've removed the ribbon just for ease of making my project flat. And I pre-painted all of this area. So I left the outside of the wood slice in its natural color. I just thought it looked kind of cool. And I stamped our image today in Memento desert sand ink. And I wanted it to be light just so that if I was using white paint, which of course I am, I can hide it eventually because it's not going to go through that paint. So for our color palette today, we are going to be using just your good old acrylic paints. I've got a white, a mint green, a grass green, a bright red, and a brown. And we're going to be using some tiny brushes, and we're going to decorate our cute little wood slice. All right, let's get started. So I've put my paints in just a little paint tray here. I've had this one for years. If you don't have a paint tray, what I recommend is to take a piece of white cardstock and laminate it. And then you've got basically a palette that you can use for anything. And I use that for watercolor, for ink smushing, so that I can use my inks as coloring mediums. So it's a handy, cheap little tool. So because there's so much brown, that's what I started with. I took a little bit of brown, I added a little bit of white because I wanted it just to be a little bit lighter. So I'm going to go and put our base coat on, and away we go. We're going to let this dry, and I'm going to make sure that my brown paint is completely dry. Now, we're not completely done in painting. I still have underneath the snowfall on the chimney and the roof line. So I still have more brown to do, but there's a reason why I'm stopping here, and once it's dry, I'll show you why. Okay, so my first brown layer is all dry. I put a little bit of my white acrylic paint onto my kind of palette over here. And what I want to do is I want to get a really light, fluffy layer on my sponge. And all I'm going to do is just kind of go down the edges of that brown area. Almost as if it's, it's come off that baking sheet and it has a little bit of flour kind of left on it. Or it's been dusted with your icing sugar, one or the other, right? So there we go. Just that cute little detail before I go and paint anything else. Okay? And let's get on with painting the remainder of our brown. All right, away we go. So I'm going to take a little bit of our brown here, and I want to make a little bit of a darker shade and use that to go over that spot. So I'm going to bring in a little bit of black paint here. Give it a good shake. And we're going to put a drop of black in. I'm going to put it kind of up on the side of our palette, and then I can just drag in however much I kind of need here. Start with a little tiny bit. And I think this will just help differentiate the two areas, like the face of the gingerbread house versus that eaves. So I'm going to go over it and just paint on that slightly different brown color. Next, we're going to work on some of the baubles, the door, and our gumdrops. And we're just going to lay down our base colors first. We'll start with green, our mint green here. This is straight out of the bottle. And we're just going to randomly pick some of the candies on the roof here and paint them up. We're going to do our 2 shades of green and our single shade of red. And I just want to put a base coat of color down. The fun thing about this is that we're going to be using my liquid applique pen. And what this does is it goes on like a liquid, but then you hit it with your heat tool and it fluffs up so it looks like snow. So we're going to add that to all of our kind of snowy areas. The nice thing about acrylic paint is you can go over top other paint very easily. So if you went inside the lines of something else, like I did on a lot of my windows and the scallops and things, I can easily fix that. Easy fix with a couple of layers of paint, even if you have to do just a couple. All right, I'm gonna go in and we're gonna fix up some of those scallops. I'm gonna go back to our original color of brown. And just define our scallops just a little bit more here. It's a little bit better, but they're not perfect. Okay, let's go in and let's work on the snow. So this is a liquid, and it's not pure white, but once it's heated, it becomes whiter. And hopefully I can get enough. And you be fairly generous. All right, so the instructions say to let this dry. Now, I've done both let it dry and take it to my heat gun, and I've pretty much got the same effect. So it's completely up to you whether you wait and let it dry overnight, as I suggest, or just go for it. Now, I'm also going to take our little sponge technique over top of our little gumdrops there. Okay, just because they're already done. So let's bring in our heat gun. So you want to make sure this is nice and warm. Give it a couple of seconds to heat up. I think I will go in and add some color to our little doorknob there too, as soon as we're done here. All right, let's watch the magic happen here. And again, some of our baubles may disappear into that little snowy applique, and that's okay. It just makes for that little added bit of whimsy. Okay, perfect. Let's add a little bit of green. Let's go our darker green for our doorknob today. Trying to stay within my little circle there. Get a little bit more paint. Another thing too with your baubles, if you want to, you could go in and really add a good dollop of paint, so you have like a little mound, which would give your little bauble obviously more dimension. There we go. Okay, and let's bring in some Nouveau drops. Now you can use stickles or Nouveau drops or whatever kind of sparkle or glitter. I just thought this might be a cute addition. So I'm going to do just a few of our red baubles, I think. Just for that little bit of Christmas sparkle. Right there, perfect. And I'm just gonna let this dry, and then I think I'm gonna put either the date or sentiment. So let's go and do that. I've actually taken my fine tipped Sharpie pen and I've outlined basically everything. I've customized it with my sister's last name there. and also the date at the bottom. And then we're just going to put some fun, sparkly stickles over top of those gumdrops. I could actually see taking some glue and adding sugar to these. Wouldn't that be super cute? You could also add salt too. Sugar may eventually melt, but you could definitely try salt. But you know what? We're going to use glitter, and you know what? Let's glitter up some of our other baubles here. And there we go. I think we are finished. Oh, you know what? And I forgot the doorknob. This fine tip Sharpie is one of my must-haves in my craft room because it comes in handy for all kinds of things. All right, I'm going to finish this off with a cute little string, and I'll decorate that up, and then I'll share with you our final ornament. And here it is with a little bit of Jingle Jingle and a pretty little glitzy ribbon. Thanks for joining me today, guys. I hope you were inspired to create your own individualized decoration. Merry Christmas and have a great holiday.